Hey everyone, welcome to today's workout. We're focusing on full body and abs. For our warm-up, let's start off with some cat-cow. So you want to focus on tucking in that chin as you bring your hips up towards the ceiling. You want to round that back. And we're diving in. We're bringing our chin towards the ceiling, kind of caving our back the opposite way. We're just going to go here for about 1 minute for each exercise for our warm-up. You want to focus on your breathing, focus on engaging your core. You want to move with control, allow your spine to roll back and forth. For the next exercise of our warm-up, we're coming into threading the needle. So you want to bring one arm up towards the ceiling and then dive it underneath the opposite underarm. We're just going to go back and forth for the 30 seconds here on one side. And after the 30 seconds, we'll switch over onto the other side. You want to focus on going as far under as you can and far up as you can. You want to allow your gaze to follow that hand. We're going nice and controlled here, sticking to our breath. And then whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and switch over to the other side here, going for another 30 seconds on this side. And then coming into our last thread, the needle, we're going to slowly come up onto our feet, just standing on the edge of our mat. We're coming into our plank walkouts, or also known as inchworms. So let's stand up nice and tall, bring those arms down. We're going to use our hands to guide us as we come into that plank position, and slowly using our body to bring ourselves back up. This one is a bit tricky, so go at a pace that feels comfortable for you. Don't have to rush through it. Remember to breathe throughout this exercise. Allow your breath to guide you. Warming up our bodies nice and warm here. Keep going. Good. Coming into finishing off those plank outs, we're going ahead into a deep forward lunge with the hamstring stretch. The key here is to kind of always keep yourselves moving. You don't want to stay in one position for too long. We want to warm up our hips, our leg muscles by going back and forth. And we're just doing 30 seconds on one side, and then after 30 seconds, we're going to go ahead and switch. Keep it nice and controlled. Focus on connecting to the muscles that we're warming up here. Want to engage that core. Use our breath to guide us here. Don't hold the breath. And then whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and slowly switch over to the other side and continue going back and forth from here. And then coming into our last exercise for the warm-up, we're going to go ahead and sit down on our sit bones. We're having our legs splayed in front of us about 90 degrees each. And we're just shifting them from side to side here. Want to open up the hips here. Want to warm up the hips as well. Use our arms to support us behind us. Try to keep that spine nice and long. We're just adjusting from side to side here, going at a pace that feels good for you. Remember to use your breath as we switch back and forth with our legs here, warming up our lower bodies, getting ourselves prepared for the workout. If these hip openers don't feel too great, or if they're trying to feel sticky, if you want, you can switch over onto this other exercise for the last part of the warm-up. And it's basically a toe touch squat. So you want to keep your hands on the feet and then come up into a squat. If you have more mobility, feel free to keep those hands down at all times. And now we're finishing up our warm-up here. Let's go ahead and come into our first exercise for the workout, coming into a lunge, into a deadlift. So we want to bring that leg back, come into a lunge, bring ourselves up, then come down into that hinge for a deadlift. So you want to focus on keeping that spine flat as we come forward into that lunge. And if you want to challenge your balance more, please feel free to lift up that leg that supports the body off of the ground. If not, leaving that foot behind you is okay as well. So let's go over and switch on to the other side here. We're focusing on squeezing those glutes and controlling your stance as we come into the lunge and slowly coming forward in that hinge for that deadlift. We're working all areas of the bodies at the moment. Remember to engage your core and use your breath. So we are doing these exercises 60 seconds on and then 15 seconds rest in between. So coming into our last rep here, let's go ahead and stand up nice and tall and take a deep breath in and out. Allow yourself to get back and connect to your breathing. In our next exercise, we're coming into a squat to goalpost arms. So as we squat, the arms are reaching nice and tall over our heads, and as we come out of that squat, we're going to reach those elbows down towards the floor, squeeze those back muscles. We're coming in nice and controlled. We want to make sure that spine is also flat and elongated as we come squatting down. You don't want to overarch that back as well, staying focused on our alignment here. We want to rush through the process, focusing on control and connecting to our muscles. We want to make sure we're engaging our core here as well, drawing that navel towards the spine, using your breath. It's inhale as we lower, exhale as we lift. Keeping it nice and controlled, at a nice controlled tempo. Allow yourselves to feel the muscles you're working, being mindful of the movement. Good. We're coming into our last rep here. We have 15 seconds of rest, and again, allow yourselves to do whatever it takes to release some of the tension and just gather your breathing back again as we prepare ourselves for the next exercise. So for this next exercise, we are coming into a modified push-up. If you want more of a challenge, feel free to come into a full push-up. We want to control that lowering of our bodies and using our chest muscles to lift ourselves up. Making sure we're using your breath and not holding your breath here. The knees are a bit painful being on the floor as we're applying pressure in this push-up. Feel free to grab like a knee pad of some sort, like a soft towel to put underneath the knees here. And again, I also want to emphasize that even as I'm doing these exercises and you want to take a quick break, feel free to take a break and readjust and reset whenever, because it's always about the form and the quality of the movement as opposed to the quantity and the speed. So and again, always go at your own pace, do whatever it takes for you to feel good. Good. Coming into our last rep here, we have 15 seconds of rest. Roll out those wrists, shake out those arms. Doing push-ups is a lot of pressure on the arms here. Feel free to do some arm stretches. Just have a seat for a quick second here. If you want to take a quick sip of water, go ahead and do so. And remember, if you ever want a longer break, feel free to just pause the video. Coming into the next exercise, we're coming into alternate swimming. So we're hovering that right arm and left leg up into the air and then switching over to left arm and right leg. So we're lifting the opposites up towards the ceiling, nice and controlled, working those back muscles, working those glutes. And when we're lifting the leg, making sure that we're lifting with our glutes. If you're starting to feel it in your lower back, feel free to just lift that leg just a little bit lower than what you have been. You want to keep those lower abs lifted as well to protect that lower back. So draw in that navel towards the spine. Use your breath. That's exhale as we lift, inhale as we lower. If you want more of a challenge, feel free to stay hovering over the mat here and lift the legs and arms a bit higher. If you want to tone it down a notch, feel free to just rest the head down as you do these movements, whatever it takes for you to feel good. Coming into our last rep here, we're going to go ahead and rest ourselves down. We have 15 seconds of rest here. Do whatever you want. Allow yourself to give yourself that break. And then let's go ahead and repeat the same sequence one more time. So we're coming back into that lunge to deadlift, focusing on controlling that descent down as you bend that leg back. And focus on hinging forward, keeping that spine nice and flat. We're engaging our core the entire time. We're staying connected to our breath. We're using our arms to help us balance here. We're gonna feel it in our hamstrings and our glutes and our quads as well. And again, if you want more of a challenge, you want to work on balance, feel free to lift that back leg off of the mat as you come into that lunge and hinge. And then go ahead and switch over onto the other side. We're focusing on the same muscles here. We're keeping it nice and controlled. Good. Coming into our last rep here. Let's go ahead and take our 15 seconds break. And whenever you're ready, adjust yourselves on the mat. We're coming back into the squat to goal post arms. We're reaching those arms nice and tall towards the ceiling as we come down nice and low into that squat. And then we're drawing those elbows down as we squeeze those back muscles, standing up nice and tall, controlling the movement here. We're focusing on our pace. We're going at a nice tempo. We're not rushing the movements. We're being mindful of how we're moving, what we're moving, and using our breath to guide us. Off our last rep here, last couple of reps. Let's go ahead and come back into that 15 seconds of rest. Take a quick sip of water if you have to. Pause the video for a longer break if you'd like as well. Just making sure we get back into it. And then whenever you're ready, slowly make your way back onto the mat here. We're coming back into our modified push-ups. We want to control the movement as we come down nice and slow and pushing ourselves back up. If you want to take a longer pause while you're at the top, feel free to do so as well. Whatever it takes for you to challenge yourself, but at the same time, know how much you can do and work your muscles the way you want to. And it becomes very easy for you to hold your breath when it comes to difficult exercises, but I want to make sure that you're using your breath because the breath can really help you here. So we're going to inhale as we lower ourselves, and then a nice big exhale as we push ourselves off of the mat into that push-up. Good, keep going. I know you're tired, but you got this. Keep breathing. We're finishing up a couple of reps here. Good. And then we have 15 seconds of rest here after these last few reps. Take a quick breather, roll out those wrists, shake out those arms, stretch it out. And then whenever you're ready, coming into the alternate swimming exercise. Ensuring we're doing opposites here, so we're lifting the left arm with the right leg, and then the right arm with the left leg. We're going back and forth. We're engaging our back and glute muscles as we lift. Again, a challenge here, you stay hovering and you're just lifting the arm and leg as well. If not, feel free to just drop it back down and just stay with the head down as well. Making sure the lower abs are still lifted here. We're tucking in that navel towards our spine. And just breathing through this exercise. Finishing off with the last rep here. We're going to go ahead and go into our 15-second break, and then after this break, we're going to go ahead into our ab sequence. So we're starting our ab sequence with mountain climbers. So we're having our shoulders stacked over the wrist here. Our shoulders are nice and stabilized. We're bringing that knee in towards the chest here as we're holding in that plank position. We're going at a pace that feels good, allowing ourselves to contract those ab muscles, engaging our core. We're using our breath. Let's inhale as we bring our leg in, exhale as we bring the leg back out. If any other alternate breathing patterns work for you, feel free to do that as well. We're reaching as far as we can with those knees towards the chest. We're keeping those hips leveled, keeping our arms nice and strong. If the wrists are not feeling too good with the pressure here, feel free to just drop down to your elbows instead. Okay, finishing it off with the last couple of reps here. We're having our 15-second break. Roll out those wrists, roll out those hands, shake it out. And then for the next exercise, let's go ahead and lay on our back. So hands are behind the head, we're supporting the head and neck here, legs are bent down, and we're bringing that opposite shoulder towards the belly button here. We're coming into our oblique curls. So we want to move with control, feel our core and ab muscles working here. Let's exhale as we curl up, and inhale as we lower. If you want more of a challenge for this one, please feel free to bring the legs up into tabletop and just hold it there. If not, doing this is fine too. And we want to make sure that the hands are just using as support to support the head here. We don't want to be tugging at the head or pulling at the neck. Coming into our last rep here, we have 15 seconds of rest. Allow yourself to just lay back on that mat for a few seconds here. Gather your breath, staying connected to the core. Grab a sip of water if you have to. And for the next exercise, we're bringing our legs up into tabletop. We're holding in our ab curl. We're using our core to stay in that ab curl. Remember, we're not tugging at the neck or the head here. And we're just dropping down the toes one at a time. Just tapping gently onto the mat and bring it back up. We're keeping that contraction of the core muscles here. We're using our breath. Let's exhale as we tap. Inhale as we bring it back up. Go for 3, for 2, and 1. Get slowly coming back on up into our 15 seconds of rest here. And then whenever you're ready, we're coming on to our elbows, our forearms here. We're holding in that plank. And we're just alternating leg lifts here. You want to focus on keeping that core contracted, draw that navel into the spine. And as we lift those legs up, we want to lift with our glutes. We're keeping our shoulders nice and stabilized over the elbows here. Let's exhale as we lift. Inhale as we lower, keeping it nice and controlled. Let's go for 3, for 2, and 1. Good, gently drop down the knees here. Come on up. If you want to hold in a child's pose for 15 seconds, feel free to do so. Do whatever you need to release some of the tension here before we get back into it. Now we're whenever you're ready, we're coming back into the ab sequence, starting all over with the mountain climbers. So, and again, remember to drop down to those forearms if the wrists are not feeling too good today. You want to focus on the quality of the movement here without compromising the form. Whether it's on the hands or on the elbows, you want to control bringing that knee in towards the chest and then back out. Keeping that navel drawn towards the spine. We're using our breath to guide us here as well, allowing us to flow. Let's go for 3, for 2, and 1. Good. Slowly and gently drop down those knees onto the mat. We're coming into our 15 seconds of rest. And whenever you're ready, we're coming back onto lying down on our back here. We're coming into our oblique curl. So we're trying to reach that shoulder towards the center line here. And if you want more of a challenge, feel free to bring those legs up into tabletop and just go from side to side. If not, leaving yourselves down here is okay too. You want to focus on curling that shoulder towards the belly button and then coming back down. Let's exhale as we curl. Inhale as we lower. Good. Going at a nice and controlled tempo here. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 2. Let's go for 1. Good. Drop it down gently onto the mat. We have 15 seconds of rest here. Again, whenever you're ready, let's bring those legs up into tabletop. We're holding up in that ab curl. We're coming back to those toe taps. Let's tap each foot down one at a time, nice and gently onto the mat. Exhale as we tap, inhale as we lift. We're checking in on our core. Are we still engaging the core here? Are we still using our hands to support the head, but not pulling at the neck? Still use your breath to guide us here. Keep going. You're doing great. Go for 3, for 2, and 1. Good. Gently drop down those legs here. Just rest ourselves down. If you want to hug the knees, feel free to do so. We have 15 seconds of rest here. Whenever you're ready, let's prop ourselves up onto our elbows, shoulders over the elbows, nice and strong. We're coming back into those plank leg lifts. So we're holding ourselves in that plank. We're lifting our heel up towards the ceiling one at a time. We're using our glutes to lift our legs here. And again, if you feel like you need a break in between, feel free to pause the video or just gently drop down the knees for a couple of seconds and allow yourselves to reset. And then use your breath here to guide you. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you lower. We're almost there. Keep going. Let's go for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Drop those knees down. We have 15 seconds of rest. Gather your breath. The hard part is officially over. We have 15 seconds of rest and we're coming into our cool down and stretch. So we're starting off our cool down with a child's pose. Knees can be spread apart for this one or together, whatever feels comfortable. Arms are reaching out nice and long. We're just hovering ourselves down onto the mat. And just allow yourselves to breathe nice and deeply into the ribs. Just allow yourself to cool down. Gather your thoughts and thank yourselves for doing this workout. You guys did amazing. Now it's time to cool down and relax. We're just gonna bring one leg forward, one leg back. We're coming into our pigeon stretch. We're holding on this side for 30 seconds. And then whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and bring the opposite leg back and the opposite leg forward. We're switching sides here. Few seconds, we're slowly coming up into a seated position. We're coming into our hamstring stretch on each side. So we're just going to hold for 30 seconds on one side. Few more seconds here. Whenever you're ready, let's go on over and stretch out the other side, allowing yourselves to breathe nice and deeply into the ribs. Try to deepen that stretch. Out of the stretch here, we're going into our tricep stretch. So one arm is nicely across our body and we're using the other arm to kind of hold down on the elbow. Just stretching out the triceps there. We're holding for 30 seconds. And whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and switch on over to the other side. We're coming into our shoulder stretch, so you want to come on all fours. One arm is elongated out in front of us, the other arm is kind of reach underneath the underarm. We're just holding ourselves there, breathing nice and deeply. We're just going to go ahead and switch on over to the other side, reaching that arm underneath as far out as possible. Bring those hips back and stretching out the shoulders. Just hold for a few more seconds here. Whenever you're ready, gently release yourself from the stretch. We're all done for today. Amazing work, guys. I'm so proud, and have a great day.